What is up, everybody? Joseph Hadaway here. So today's video is going to be a little more sobering, a little bit more of a real topic than a lot of the rest of the stuff that I talk about, and that's because today we're talking about student loans. It kind of had to come up at some point, and now's probably the best time to start talking. I'm going to date this recording a little bit. Right now, it is about 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the 31st of May. So as I'm looking at it now, here's how the situation stands. Student loan payments here in the US, along with interest rates, have been on pause since March 13th, 2020. That means that you, me, and everybody else, the other 43 plus million Americans who carry student loan debt, have not had to make a payment in more than 3 years now. Number two, over the weekend, the government announced a new deal on the debt ceiling, which includes an end to all federal student loan payment pauses. As of time of recording, that deal has not been passed through Congress yet, but this won't be going live till probably about June 9th, and I would expect that deal to be approved by then. But hey, here's how it stands now. If that deal goes through, that would push out student payments 60 days from the date of approval, which would mean we all start making student loan payments again in August. And even at worst, the payment pause is set to end 60 days after June 30th, which would have meant we all started making payments in September. So no matter how you look at it, it's coming, and it's coming fast. And number three, President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan is still stalled in the Supreme Court. We have not heard anything about that, approval, denial, anything. And just to be honest, I'm not expecting to hear anything back by the time this video goes live. But I just want to frame the situation of how I wrote this and how I'm saying it. Now, I know I don't usually talk a lot about current news on this channel, but with student loan payments coming back for the first time in more than 3 years, I feel pretty confident saying that a lot of families and a lot of households are going to be hit really hard by this. So here's your 60 to 90 day warning. Let's start getting ready for it. The last thing I want anyone to do is to be hit with a sudden payment they weren't ready for and to fall flat in their face. So let's talk about how to get ready for your student loan payment. All right, so first up, you have to know what to expect. We've got to figure out roughly what your monthly payment is so we can see how it fits into your budget right now. So, luckily, the government gives us a pretty easy way to check your outstanding student loan balance. That is, of course, if you have federal student loans. If you have private student loans, they're a whole different beast. All right, so if you head over to studentloans.gov, and I'll link that in the description, you can either log in if you've been there before or create an account if you're new, and this will show you who holds your student loans, what servicer that is, how much you owe in terms of both principal and interest, and kind of a little snapshot of where you stand now, along with a few repayment options. All right, easy enough. Now we're getting a little complicated with it. So now that we know how much you owe, if your servicer is anything like mine, they're not calculating your payment yet. So we got to do that ourselves. The best way I found to do that is to head over to Bankrate's Simple Loan Payment Calculator, and I will link that in the description as well. And real quick, if anyone knows of a way to find your federal student loans interest rate, let me know down in the comments, because mine still shows 0 because of the interest rate pause. So we're going to do a little guesstimation on this one. Now, once you head here to the calculator, I'm going to go ahead and use 6% as my interest rate. The federal average right now is about 5.8. I like to round up just because then it can only get better. But again, if you know a way to check your actual interest rate, somebody please tell me in the comments, because I would love to know and I'd love to share the information. So then we take your number owed in the box, then we put in our 6% interest rate, and the average student loan repayment, or the default one, is 10 years. So we're going to put that 10-year term in here, hit calculate, and bam, there's your monthly payment, roughly. Of course, this isn't exact, but it gives us a pretty good baseline of where to start and what we need to be looking out for. All right, so now that you know your payment, or a pretty good estimate of what your payment is going to be, let's look at how it fits in your budget. Now, you might be fine here. You might be able to rearrange some expendable income, maybe invest a little less, and bam, we're done. You are good to go. But I'm making today's video for anyone who has questions or is a little worried, or the student loan payment maybe is a little higher than you thought it was, or even it's just kind of high, maybe even a little insane in some points, and you're a little worried about what to do. So let's talk about some of the options available if you fall into that second camp. All right, so if you're concerned about how to make your student loan payment or the effect the payment will have on your quality of life or even just ability to live, thrive, and survive, you really have three main primary options at your disposal. Number one, kind of the obvious one, you got to make more money. Whether that be pick up a side hustle or a part-time job, you've got to find something that pays enough to cover your student loan payment every month. 101 options to what that could be. Lots of resources out there. I'm not going to dive too deep into any of these. Number two, another little more of the obvious option that you'll probably hear out there is to rework your budget. What expenses can you cut? Are you overpaying for things? Do you have some subscription services that you don't use? Wherever you can find that extra money to make your payment, then bam, once again, we're all good to go. Our number three, and again, this only applies to federal student loans. There are some federal programs out there that can reduce or even delay your payment even further by either extending your term, or there is also an income-based repayment plan. Several different options for that I could make a whole video about, and maybe even, check my blog. I'll make a post about that by the time this video goes up. I'll make a post and we'll talk about it because it's an important topic. But I won't go into it too far here because it's outside of the scope of this video and is more than I want to get into here. All right, so to sum this all up, and I know this is a brief video and a very brief overview of everything, I'm only looking to start the conversation right now. More in-depth content is coming, but again, to sum it all up, student loans are coming fast. Consider this your 60-ish day warning before you're gonna have to make a payment again. And your interest starts accruing again. It's coming, and it is coming very, very fast. While payment delays have been set and extended by two different presidential administrations now, those days seem to be coming to an end, and I think we all knew that was coming, but it's hard to grasp the reality that it's finally here and it's finally happening. But you're getting a 2, maybe even 3-month warning on this, depending on what happens in Congress between now and the end of June, really. So if you're able to get on top of this now and readjust your budget and your life appropriately, you can really make this work and you won't be hit quite as hard. Now, I know a lot of people that I've talked to personally, real life, Twitter, whatever it may be, are quite worried about their student loan payment, and a lot of people who have graduated college since the student loan payment free started, I got a lot of questions. And I get that. I want to say my email address is in the description of these videos, and my DMs are always open on both Twitter and Instagram. If you have any questions or you want to take a look at your budget or your student loan amount, reach out to me. Let's talk. We'll do however many sessions it takes, absolutely free, no charge. My only goal here is to help you and everyone else in the situation get on their feet. And with all that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, you want help, you want someone else to look at your budget, talk about your student loans or anything else in your personal finance world, reach out to me. We'll talk, absolutely free. I want to help you get your money right. That is by far my biggest goal of absolutely everything I do around here. And hey, if you want to stay on top of personal finances, student loans, budgeting, whatever, go ahead and drop a sub. I'm sure we'll be talking more about student loans and a lot of the other pressing events going on right now very, very soon. And with that said, thank you all again so much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.